If you are a man over 50 and you have noticed your morning erections disappearing, let me give you a shock of truth. This is not simply aging. It is your body waving a red flag, warning that your circulation, your testosterone, and even your heart health may be slipping. Too many men accept this as normal, or they turn to pills like Viagra that only mask the problem. But the real tragedy is that you don't need a prescription drug to bring back powerful, natural morning wood. There is a safe, natural powder that can awaken your erections and your confidence without the risks. I am Dr. Mohit Kara, a board-certified urologist with more than 30 years of experience helping men restore their vitality. Every day I work with men in their 50s, 60s, and 70s who believe their best mornings are behind them. I've watched these same men completely transform their health by making one simple change before bedtime. Here's the paradox. Most people believe erections only depend on desire or testosterone. In reality, the secret lies in something much simpler and often overlooked. A natural molecule your body used to make in abundance when you were younger, and one that this bedtime powder helps restore. And here's my promise. If you stay with me, you'll learn exactly what this powder is, how to use it, and why it can reignite firm, reliable morning erections without drugs, without side effects, and without shame. So keep listening, because in just a few moments I'll reveal this powder and show you the exact nighttime ritual that can bring your mornings and your manhood back to life. Before we get started, make sure you subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss another tip on men's health and vitality after 50. And I'd love your feedback. If this message speaks to you, type 1 in the comments. If it doesn't, type 0, so I know how to improve and serve you better. Now let's begin with the first and most important truth. Why morning erections matter. They are not just about intimacy or desire, they are your body's daily report card. When they fade, it signals deeper issues with circulation, hormones, and overall health that must not be ignored. 1. Why morning erections matter. When I speak to men in their 60s and beyond, one of the first things they often tell me, sometimes with embarrassment, sometimes with frustration, is that their morning erections have quietly faded away. And I want you to know, if this is happening to you, you are far from alone. But more importantly, it is not something you should dismiss as just getting older. Morning erections are so much more than a physical reaction. They are a signal from your body that things are working the way they should. When you wake up with firmness, it tells me that your blood vessels are still flexible, that circulation is strong, and that your testosterone is active. It is your body's silent reassurance that you are not only capable in the bedroom, but also that your heart, your blood flow, and your hormones are in balance. When those erections begin to fade, however, it's often the first whisper of an imbalance that will only grow louder over time. Sometimes it means your arteries are becoming stiff. Sometimes it's your testosterone quietly slipping. And sometimes it's stress and poor sleep pulling you further away from the vitality you once knew. As a physician, I can tell you that ignoring this signal is one of the biggest mistakes men make. Because long before chest pain or fatigue shows up, the loss of morning erections is your body's early warning sign that it needs support. I've sat across from countless men who told me they felt less like themselves once this natural rhythm disappeared. Their confidence suffered, their energy waned, and their sense of masculinity felt diminished. Yet I've also seen those very same men light up again, literally glow, when they regained this natural sign of health. It is not simply about sex. It is about reclaiming a part of yourself that makes you feel alive, proud, and whole. And the encouraging truth is this: you can bring them back. In fact, nature has already given us a way to restore what you thought was gone forever. The key lies in understanding a simple, natural powder that works with your body, not against it. So let's talk about the science behind it and why it can succeed where pills so often fail. 2. The science behind this powder. Now that you understand why morning erections matter so deeply, let me share with you the natural solution I have recommended to countless men in my practice. It might surprise you because it doesn't come in a blue pill, it doesn't require a prescription, and it doesn't carry the side effects that make so many men nervous. The answer is found in something as humble as the beetroot. Yes, That deep red root vegetable your grandparents may have eaten at the dinner table holds one of the greatest secrets to restoring natural erections. When ground into a fine powder, beetroot becomes one of the richest natural sources of dietary nitrates. Once inside your body, those nitrates convert into nitric oxide, a molecule that acts like a key to unlock your blood vessels. I often explain it this way to my patients. Without nitric oxide, an erection is nearly impossible, no matter how much desire you feel. With nitric oxide, however, the blood vessels widen and relax, blood flows more easily, oxygen travels where it needs to go, and suddenly your body is capable again. This is not about forcing an artificial reaction, it's about giving your body the very ingredient it needs to function the way it was designed. What I find most remarkable is how taking beetroot powder in the evening works silently while you sleep. During those hours of rest, your body repairs tissues, balances hormones, and restores energy. With nitric oxide circulating freely, oxygen and nutrients are delivered more efficiently not just to your muscles and heart, but also to the pelvic region where erections are born. Many men describe waking up after a few weeks of consistency and feeling as though their bodies had turned back the clock. Their mornings were firmer, their stamina greater, and their confidence noticeably higher. But here's where the story takes an important turn. While beetroot powder strengthens what is natural, many men are still tempted to lean on quick-fix pills like Viagra. Before you make that mistake, let me explain why those drugs so often disappoint and why they can never give you what this natural approach can. 3. Why Viagra isn't the answer. Over the years, I've had countless men sit across from me in my office, shoulders heavy, voices lowered, and they'll confess, "Doctor, I've been taking Viagra, but it doesn't feel right." Some admit it works for a short time, others say it doesn't work at all, and many complain of the side effects: pounding headaches, dizziness, flushed skin, even moments of fear that their heart couldn't handle the strain. I always listen carefully because what they're describing is a common cycle. Viagra and similar drugs may push blood into the penis for a few hours, but they don't rebuild the system that creates healthy, natural erections in the first place. They're a patch, not a solution. Here's the truth that most men don't realize. Erectile strength is about more than just forcing blood into one area. It's about the health of the entire vascular system. When your arteries are stiff, when your nitric oxide is low, when your hormones are imbalanced, no pill on earth can restore that natural rhythm for long. That's why men find themselves needing higher doses over time, while the benefits become weaker and the risks become greater. I've seen the disappointment in their eyes, and I felt the frustration in their voices. Many men feel betrayed by these pills because they were promised vitality, but instead they were handed a temporary illusion. And worse, every time you depend on a pill, you're reminded that your body can no longer perform on its own. That psychological weight can be devastating. This is why I emphasize natural restoration instead of artificial stimulation. With something as simple as beetroot powder, you're not tricking your body. You're supporting it. You're encouraging your blood vessels to open naturally, the way they did decades ago. That's the difference between dependence and freedom. Now the question becomes, if this powder holds such promise, how exactly should you take it to see the strongest results? Let me walk you through the simple, practical steps that can make all the difference. 4. How to take beetroot powder for best results. When men ask me, "Doctor, how do I actually use this?" I always smile, because the beauty of beetroot powder lies in its simplicity. Unlike a prescription that comes with a list of warnings, this is something you can easily make part of your nightly routine, just as natural as brushing your teeth or pouring yourself a glass of water. The key is consistency. Your body thrives on habits, and when you give it the right support every single evening, it begins to respond in remarkable ways. Here's what I tell my patients. Start with 1 teaspoon of beetroot powder, about 30 minutes before bed. You can stir it into a glass of water if you like it simple. If the earthy taste is a bit strong, squeeze in some lemon or add a teaspoon of honey. Some men prefer to blend it into a light smoothie, while others enjoy mixing it into warm herbal tea before they unwind for the night. There's no wrong way, as long as you take it consistently. What matters is that you're feeding your body the building blocks it needs to restore circulation while you sleep. I often compare it to planting a seed in fertile soil. At first, you might not notice much, but night after night, as the powder delivers nitrates that become nitric oxide, your blood vessels begin to soften and open. Your circulation grows stronger, oxygen reaches deeper, and before long, the mornings you thought were gone return with a sense of firmness and pride you haven't felt in years. Many men tell me they not only wake up more alive, but they carry that energy through the day, with sharper focus and more stamina. Now, as powerful as this routine is, there's another side of the story that many men overlook. Erections are not only physical, they are deeply emotional. And unless we address that side too, we miss half the picture. Let me explain what I mean. 5. The emotional side of morning wood. I want to pause for a moment and speak to you not just as a doctor, but as a man who understands how deeply this affects your sense of self. When you lose those morning erections, it doesn't only change your body, it changes the way you feel about yourself. I've had men look me in the eye and tell me they feel less like a man, that they've lost a part of their identity. Others confess that even though they try to laugh it off, inside there's a quiet sadness, a frustration, even a fear that their best days are behind them. These are not small feelings. They reach into every corner of your life, from your confidence in the bedroom to the way you carry yourself out in the world. But here's what I want you to hold on to. You are not broken, you are not finished. Your body is still capable, and those signals you once took for granted can return. I have seen men who thought they were beyond hope, men who hadn't woken up with firmness in years, light up with tears in their eyes when it returned. It wasn't just the physical change, it was the emotional rebirth. Suddenly, they felt powerful again, not just in their bodies, but in their spirit. That confidence spilled over into their relationships, their energy at work, even the way they looked in the mirror each morning. And this is why restoring morning erections matters so much more than most people realize. It is not only about intimacy, it is about reclaiming dignity, pride, and vitality. When you wake up strong, you carry that strength into the rest of your day. You walk differently, you think differently, you believe in yourself again. Still, even with the right powder and the right mindset, your results depend on how well you care for your body as a whole. That's why I want to share the daily habits that, when paired with this natural solution, can take your results to an even higher level. 6. Supporting lifestyle habits. Over the years, I've learned that even the most powerful natural remedy works best when it's supported by the right daily habits. Beetroot powder can prime your body for stronger circulation, but if you neglect the fundamentals of health, you'll only be giving it half a chance. Think of your body like a finely tuned machine. When every part works together, the performance is smooth and powerful. But when one part falters, whether it's sleep, hydration, movement, or stress, everything else begins to suffer. Sleep is the first pillar. Testosterone is produced while you're in deep, restorative rest. Without that, your body doesn't get the chance to replenish its hormones. I often remind men that staying up late with the television or scrolling on a phone steals more than just time. It steals your strength for the next day. Prioritize 7 to 8 hours of restful sleep, and you'll see the difference not only in your energy, but in your mornings. Hydration is just as critical. Blood is made mostly of water, and when you're dehydrated, circulation slows and your vessels become stiff. I encourage men to sip water throughout the day, not gulp it all at once. That steady flow keeps your blood volume healthy and your body ready for performance. Movement is another key. You don't need to spend hours in a gym. Even a brisk walk after dinner improves blood flow, lowers stress, and primes your body for the night ahead. And speaking of stress, never underestimate its power. High cortisol can crush testosterone and rob you of vitality. Simple practices like deep breathing, prayer, or quiet time before bed can calm the nervous system and prepare you for better sleep and stronger mornings. When you combine these habits with beetroot powder, you create a foundation that supports every aspect of manhood. But what happens next is what excites men the most, what they can actually expect to feel and see when they stay consistent. Let me show you exactly what those results can look like. 7. What you can expect. One of the questions I hear most often from men is, "Doctor, how long will it take before I notice a difference?" I understand the urgency behind that question. Because when your mornings have been quiet for too long, you want to know if change is truly possible. The encouraging truth is that many men notice subtle improvements within the first couple of weeks. It might begin as a feeling of fullness in the morning that wasn't there before, or an easier time achieving firmness during intimacy. These early changes are your body's way of telling you that the nitric oxide pathways are waking up again, that circulation is improving, and that your system is responding to the support you're giving it. As weeks go by, those subtle signs often grow into something much more noticeable. Men report firmer, longer-lasting erections, not just in the morning, but also in moments of intimacy. They describe having more energy throughout the day, less fatigue, and even sharper focus. It's as if the same process that restores blood flow to the pelvic region is also fueling the brain, the muscles, and the heart. That's because it is. Better circulation doesn't only change one part of your body, it changes every part of your life. I've had men come back to me months later and share how these changes gave them back more than they expected. They weren't only stronger in the bedroom, they were stronger in spirit. They carried themselves with more confidence, laughed more easily, and felt more connected to their partners. It wasn't just about an erection, it was about reclaiming the energy of being alive. Now, knowing all of this, you may be wondering how to bring everything together, the powder, the habits, the mindset, into one simple path forward. Let me tie it all together for you in the conclusion, because that's where the true transformation begins. Conclusion. Gentlemen, we've walked together through the truth about morning erections, why they matter, and how something as simple as a natural powder can help restore what so many men believe they've lost. We've talked about the science, how beetroot powder fuels nitric oxide to open your blood vessels and bring life back to your circulation. We've seen why pills like Viagra can never replace what your body can do on its own. We've covered how to take this powder, the habits that strengthen its effect, and what you can realistically expect as your body begins to respond. But beyond all the science, I want to remind you of something personal. Morning erections are not only about intimacy, they are about confidence, dignity, and the reassurance that your body is still strong. When a man wakes up with that natural firmness, he carries it into every part of his life. I have seen men regain a light in their eyes, a bounce in their step, and a deeper sense of connection with the people they love. That is what this journey is really about, restoring not only your physical strength, but your spirit. So here is my advice to you. Make this part of your nightly ritual. Take 1 teaspoon of beetroot powder before bed, stay consistent, support it with sleep, hydration, movement, and stress relief. Give your body the chance to heal, to recover, and to perform the way it was designed. You may be over 60, but that does not mean your best mornings are behind you. They can return, stronger and more reliable than ever, if you simply give your body the right tools. I'm Dr. Mohit Khera, and I thank you for trusting me. Now it's your turn to take the first step toward reclaiming your mornings and your manhood.